Welcome to my channel. Have you ever seen a man carrying the weight of the world, not in stories, but in real life? Bills, emotions, strength, silence, all hidden behind a quiet smile? What if I told you there's a kind of burden most people never notice, and it's breaking more men than you think? Stay with me till the end, and you might see the world a little differently. Chapter 1. The Silent Expectations. We see him every day, at work, at home, in the grocery store, maybe even in the mirror. He doesn't say much. He just gets things done. He pays the bills, carries the groceries, stays calm when things go wrong, and wakes up early even when he's tired. Most people don't ask him how he's feeling. Why? Because they think he's fine. He always looks strong. But here's the truth. Sometimes he's not fine. He just doesn't show it. In many families, the husband is expected to be the rock, the protector, the one who earns money, the one who stays strong when everyone else falls apart. But where do these expectations come from? And who decided that men don't need help too? Imagine carrying a bag that gets heavier every day. Inside it are things like money stress, family pressure, silent pain, and unspoken fear. You carry it everywhere, to work, to dinner, to sleep, but no one sees it. They just say, "You're doing great," or worse, they say nothing at all. Many men grow up hearing things like, "Be a man, don't cry, you're the provider." These words stay in their minds for years. Slowly, they start to believe, "If I feel pain, I should hide it. If I'm scared, I must act brave. If I'm tired, I keep going." This becomes their normal life. Let's talk about the invisible roles men often play. First, he is the protector. If something dangerous happens, people look to him to fix it. If there's a sound at night, he's the one who checks. If someone's in trouble, he steps in, even if he's scared too. Second, he is the provider. He may feel responsible for the money, rent, food, school fees, emergencies. If the bank account is low, he feels like a failure, even if no one blames him. He blames himself. Third, he is the emotional wall. When his partner cries, he listens. When his child is scared, he comforts them. But when he feels weak, he says nothing. He holds it in. Why? Because he thinks, "If I fall apart, who will be strong for them?" These roles are not always bad. In fact, many men feel proud to protect and provide. But the problem starts when people forget. He is human too. We often hear about women needing emotional support, and that's true. But we don't talk enough about how men need it too. We don't ask them, "How are you?" and really mean it. We don't say, "It's okay to cry," or "You don't always have to be strong." Instead, we keep expecting more and more from them. Money, strength, silence, solutions, and give back very little. In one powerful image, the one many of you saw at the start of this video, we see a husband carrying bags labeled bills, emotional stability, suppressing feelings, protection, staying strong for everyone. He's also holding a baby, and walking beside him is a woman with coffee in one hand and a phone in the other. She looks relaxed. He looks exhausted. Now, this image doesn't mean every relationship is like this. It doesn't mean women are always careless or men are always suffering. That's not the point. The point is to open our eyes, to notice what we may have ignored, to ask, are we treating our partners like equals or like tools to make our lives easier? Sometimes people don't even realize they're placing too much weight on their husbands. They think, he's strong, he can handle it. But strength doesn't mean limitless energy. It doesn't mean no emotion. Even the strongest person needs someone to say, let me help you carry that. So today, let's start asking different questions. Not just, did you pay the bill? But how are you holding up? Not just, what's for dinner? But, how can I make your day easier? Not just, you're the man, handle it. But, you don't have to do it all alone. When we begin to ask these questions, we open the door to something better. Not just for husbands, but for all of us. For families, for relationships, for real connection. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same things: to be seen, to be understood, and to be supported. So, if you've watched this far, thank you. You've already taken the first step toward understanding the weight no one talks about. Chapter 2: Emotional Suppression. The Hidden Pain. Let's be honest. How often do we really ask a man, "Are you okay?" and mean it? In the last chapter, we talked about the silent roles many men play in relationships. Always being strong, dependable, and in control. But what happens when that silence becomes too heavy to carry? What happens when a man hides his pain so well that even he starts to believe it's not there? This chapter is about something called emotional suppression. That means hiding your feelings deep inside and pretending everything is fine, even when it's not. Many men learn to do this from a very young age. They grow up hearing things like, "Don't cry," "Be a man," or "Crying is for girls." These words may seem small, but they leave a big mark. They send a message. Your feelings are not allowed here. So what do boys do? They stop showing emotions. When they feel scared, they act tough. When they feel sad, they go quiet. When they feel lonely, they keep busy. On the outside, they look okay, but inside, they're struggling. It's like holding your breath. At first, you feel fine. You think, I can do this. But the longer you hold it, the more your body shakes. Your chest tightens. You start to panic. Now imagine doing that every day, not with your breath, but with your emotions. That's what emotional suppression feels like. Many people wonder, why don't men just talk about their feelings? The answer is simple. They're afraid. Afraid of looking weak. Afraid that no one will understand. Afraid of being laughed at or judged. So instead of speaking, they stay silent. They carry the pain alone. And the more they carry, the heavier it gets. Over time, this silence turns into something worse. Depression, anger, distance, and emotional numbness. They stop feeling joy. They stop feeling connected. Some even stop feeling anything at all. Anger is often the only emotion that feels safe. It becomes the mask they wear because it's more acceptable than sadness or fear. But underneath that anger, there's often deep hurt that hasn't been spoken about in years. When men suppress their feelings for too long, it affects everything: their health, their sleep, their relationships, even the way they see themselves. They may look strong, but inside they feel lost. At the same time, society doesn't always give them space to open up. Even when they want to talk, they often don't feel safe to do so. They worry that if they share what's really going on inside, they'll be told to get over it or be strong. So they stay quiet. They keep going. But just because someone is quiet doesn't mean they're okay. If you're someone who loves or cares about a man, maybe your father, husband, brother, or friend, ask yourself, do I give him space to be real? Do I really listen when he opens up? Do I remind him that it's okay not to be okay? Support doesn't always mean solving problems. Sometimes it just means being there, listening, and saying, I hear you. And if you're a man watching this, ask yourself, when was the last time I talked about how I really feel? Do I believe I deserve to be supported too? Do I know that I can be strong and still show emotion? The answer is yes. Being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. In fact, it takes more courage to share your pain than to hide it. Anyone can wear a mask, but it takes real bravery to take it off and say, this is what I'm feeling. Emotional suppression isn't just a problem for men. It's a problem for all of us. When we teach boys and men to hide their emotions, we lose something important. We lose connection. We lose truth. And we lose the chance to heal. That's why we need to start changing the way we talk about feelings. Not just for men, but for everyone. Let's stop saying man up and start saying speak up. Let's stop expecting silence and start welcoming honesty. Because the strongest man is not the one who hides everything. The strongest man is the one who knows he doesn't have to carry it all alone. Chapter 3: The Financial Pressure Cooker. Now let's talk about something many men feel every single day: money pressure. It's not always talked about, but for many husbands and fathers, it's a constant weight sitting on their shoulders. In fact, it's one of the heaviest weights of all. Everywhere we look, we see the message that a man's worth is connected to how much he earns. He's supposed to be the one who brings home the money, the one who pays the bills, the one who takes care of everyone, even if he's tired, even if he's worried, even if he's not sure how to do it. Still, he feels like he must, because if he doesn't, who will? Now imagine waking up every day with a list of expenses in your mind: rent, food, school fees, car repairs, unexpected medical bills, birthdays, holidays, emergencies, and maybe even debt. It doesn't stop. The list just keeps growing. Some men don't say anything about it. They smile, go to work, and act like everything is fine. But inside, they are drowning in stress. And the worst part? Many feel like they're not allowed to talk about it. Why? Because they believe their job is to provide, not complain. They think, if I say I'm struggling, people will think I'm failing. So they stay silent. They work longer hours. They take on more responsibility. And slowly they start to break down. In some relationships, the man becomes like a walking ATM, expected to give, expected to pay, expected to solve problems. And when money is tight, he feels guilty, ashamed, or even useless. But he still keeps going. He doesn't ask for help because he's afraid. He doesn't stop to rest because he thinks he can't. He just keeps pushing himself, even when he's running on empty. This pressure can hurt not just the man, but the whole relationship. Why? Because financial stress changes people. It can make someone angry, distant, or sad. It can make couples fight. It can make people stop talking. But when we understand where this pressure comes from, we can begin to change the way we treat each other. The truth is, money should never define a person. It should never decide someone's value in a relationship. A man is more than what he earns. He's not a paycheck. He's not a machine. He's a human being with feelings, dreams, worries, and limits. For English learners, it's good to understand some common words used in this chapter. The word breadwinner means the person who earns most of the money in a family. The word debt means money that someone owes. And the phrase financial pressure means the stress someone feels because of money problems. These are important words because they describe what many people live with every day, but don't talk about. Sometimes the pressure also comes from comparison. A man might see others buying nice cars, big houses, or taking expensive vacations, and he starts to feel like he's not doing enough. Even if his family is safe and loved, he feels like he's falling behind. That's the power of silent pressure. It makes people believe they are not good enough, even when they are doing their best. So how can we help change this? First, we need to stop measuring a man's value by how much he earns. He's not less of a husband or father if he makes less money. What matters is effort, honesty, and care, not just cash. Second, we need to create space for real conversations. It's okay to say, "I'm struggling this month." It's okay to say, "I need help." We all go through hard times. No one should have to go through them alone. Finally, we need to remember that partnership means working together, not just financially, but emotionally too. If one person is carrying all the pressure, the relationship will suffer. But if both people support each other, even during hard times, the bond becomes stronger. So next time you see a man who seems fine, ask yourself, what's he carrying that no one sees? Is he stressed about money? Is he afraid to say it out loud? Is he quietly fighting battles just to keep the lights on and food on the table? Sometimes the kindest thing you can say to your partner is, "You don't have to carry all of this alone." Because love is not about who earns more. It's about who shows up, who cares, who listens, and who stays, even when things are hard. Chapter 4: The Need for Emotional Support. After everything we've talked about, the silent expectations, the emotional suppression, and the financial pressure, there's one important truth we cannot ignore anymore. Men need emotional support too. This is the weight no one talks about. Not just because men carry it, but because so few people ask if they're okay while they're carrying it. A man might look strong. He might smile. He might go to work, pay the bills, protect the family, and stay calm in every situation. But strength doesn't mean he feels nothing. Being silent doesn't mean he has no fears. quiet pain is still pain. And when it's ignored for too long, it grows into something dangerous. Depression, disconnection, even hopelessness. And the most heartbreaking part? Many of them feel like they can't say anything about it. Why? Because in many relationships, men are treated more like a service than a person. They're expected to fix problems, stay emotionally stable, and carry pressure. But often, no one asks how they are doing. It's like the emotional support they give is seen as normal. But the emotional support they need is invisible. And this is where we all need to stop and think. We talk so much about love. We post about relationships. We say things like partnership and teamwork. But if one person is always giving and the other is only taking, is that really a team? No relationship should be one-sided. A husband, a boyfriend, a father. He's not just a provider. He's not just the one who holds everything together. He is a person who needs to be listened to, appreciated, and cared for just like anyone else. Real love is not about expecting someone to be your emotional rock forever. It's about becoming each other's support system. That's what balance looks like. Emotional support doesn't mean solving problems or giving advice all the time. Sometimes it just means sitting next to someone and saying, "I'm here for you." It means listening without judgment, without rushing, without rolling your eyes or changing the topic. It means allowing space for feelings, not just for your own, but for his too. If your partner comes home after a long day, instead of asking what he didn't do, ask how his day really felt. If he seems distant, maybe it's not because he doesn't care. Maybe it's because he's emotionally exhausted from carrying everything inside. And if he finally opens up, even a little, don't laugh or brush it off. That small moment of honesty is a big act of trust. Now imagine a world where men didn't feel ashamed to say, "I'm not okay today." Imagine a world where a husband could break down for a moment. And instead of being told to get it together, he was simply held. That world starts with us. It starts when we stop seeing men as just strong and start seeing them as fully human, with limits, with hearts, with stories that matter. And for the men watching this, yes, you matter too. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to rest. You deserve to say, "I need help," without feeling weak. You are not just the helper. You are also someone who deserves help. You are not just the support. You are also someone who needs support. You don't have to carry everything, not alone. To the women watching this, if you have a good man in your life, love him fully. Not just when he's smiling and strong. Love him when he's tired. Love him when he's scared. Love him when he doesn't have the words to explain what's wrong. He may never ask, but he still needs your support more than you know. Because behind that quiet look, that calm voice, that busy routine, there is someone who is holding a lot, maybe too much. And if he's still trying every day, still showing up, still doing his best, that alone is a kind of love that deserves to be seen and returned. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to look at the men in our lives with softer eyes. To stop asking them to always be the strong ones. And to start being strong enough for them too.